Hello, ECO students. We are starting Unit 2, which is called Market Structures and Business Organizations. Today, we're going to be focusing on that market structures aspect of it. So, g- um, I have a sheet of paper that you're going to be filling out. Um, it's going to be, if you're in the first period, um, it's going to be on the back filing cabinet. It is a table that looks something like this. It has market structures on it. It has like it's got boxes. You're going to fill it out. If it is later on in the day, maybe that stack of paper has moved to the front of the classroom on the front table. I hope so. I made copies of it. It's ready to go. Someone's might have to dig. It's on the top of the filing cabinet. It is not inside the filing cabinet. It's on top. It's in a box. It's there. It was copied before school started, so it should be there. If not, if it cannot be located or whatever, you're going to have to copy this table down in your notes. I'm sorry. So anyway, market structures is basically how multiple businesses that are on the same marketing space together, how that market is structured, like how much competition is in that market, how much power do these businesses have, what type of products are they going to be selling, that type of structure. So here we have the four different types of market structures. Uh, and I don't know if these boxes are pre-filled on that worksheet. I don't remember how much information I typed in there and how much I left blank. I feel like it might be looking like this, or it's going to have more columns. So from least competitive market, where there's no competition basically between businesses, is going to be a monopoly. Everyone in here has heard like the name monopoly before. What's the goal of monopoly is to be the last one left, to be there's only one person that controls all the properties, whether it be Park Place or Baltic Avenue or whatever. That's the goal of the game. And then on the complete opposite end is going to be the market structure called perfect competition. Sometimes it's called pure competition, depending on the context. And then you have the other two, oligopoly, which is similar to monopoly, and monopolistic competition, which is similar to perfect competition. I know the term monopolistic competition, you would think that it's going to be the one closest to monopoly because they both have like monopoly in the title. But I want you to keep the two competitions together here on the screen. Those are similar. And then the two polys are similar on the screen. So let's talk about what a monopoly actually is. So a monopoly is where there's only one seller and they sell different products, meaning like they're the only ones to sell that products. So I think there's a column on your worksheet that says, what type of products do they sell? They sell differentiated products, meaning they're the only ones to sell that thing. No one else can compete with that. They have something called market power. In fact, they have complete, I can't spell, market power. What that means, market power is the ability to set prices however you want it. And since they're the only ones and there's no competition that they have to, fight with, they can sell the price to be whatever they want. Because where else are you going to go? They're the only ones that sell that product. And because of that, when it comes to how easy it is to enter this market, there is no entry, meaning businesses cannot just enter that market because they can't even probably maybe there's patents or licenses on the product that like that's why the monopoly has a monopoly is maybe they have a patent or they have copyright laws that like I'm the only one that can do this, and so there's no entry, whether it be there's maybe a high startup cost. It's like really expensive to like um, for a long time, NASA had a monopoly on like space and shuttles. I guess not all of them are shuttles, like rockets that could go out of space. And like one of the reasons that was had a monopoly is the massive amount of startup costs that you would need to like have a rocket and launch it into space. That's a lot of money. So whether it be startup costs or maybe some patent that a patent is the right to have a monopoly for the government for a certain amount of time. So like when new medicine comes out, like a new there's a Tamagotchi beeping in the back of the room. It's a R2D2 Tamagotchi. I'm in the guest room. Anyway, there's toys. Like you can see like a where am I going? Like a Lego right there. Anywho, back to class. If you enter like the market with a brand new drug, like brand new medicine, you are going to apply to have a patent by the government that says I'm the only one that can make this for 10 years, 20 years, whatever. And then after the 20 years is up, after the patent is up, then you're going to have like generic brands. But maybe the first few years that a medicine comes out, it's only brought to you by the producer of that medicine. There are no generics, there's no competition, and so they can charge whatever they want. Um, Whatever, okay, etc. When it comes to non-price competition, you guys are going to define your vocabulary tomorrow, but non-price competition is a way that businesses compete by not changing the price. So making it like flashier and nicer, maybe having really great customer service or having lots of locations everywhere. It's a way that they stay competitive without, making like a sale would be price competition. But saying that, hey, we're open 24 hours a day is an example of non-price competition. It's not changing the price while still being competitive. Monopolies don't need to do that because where else are you going to go? So there is zero non-price competition because there's no competition. Some examples of a monopoly. Where do you get your driver's license? DMV, right? Where else are you going to go get a driver's license? That's it. So think of the quality of, let's say, customer service of the DMV, or the fact that there's like 2 locations in like our area, which is not very many at all. The DMV doesn't they do have low prices on services. Well, that's because it's government regulated. But if the government didn't regulate it, then there would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get a driver's license. But a DMV is what you consider a natural monopoly. A natural monopoly is when the government okays it to be a monopoly. They get special permission by the government, and because it actually makes sense that there's only one. There doesn't need to be competition in a driver's license market because it is a product that everyone like needs. And to have, the fire department, once again, is kind of like a natural monopoly. There doesn't need to be competition. It's like whoever gets there is the one that fights the fire. You're going to do it. You're not going to be like, let me weigh my options. Also, public water. Like if you live in the city of Tomball, you have public city water. There's no need for a competition here. Like there's enough water for everyone to go around. There that doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense to have like my neighbors have different pipes going to their house, and I ripped out all the pipes from this company and put in new pipes of another company. That doesn't make any sense. It would be, the ground would be structurally unsound if that many companies had access and like could just whatever. So it makes more sense to just have one company provide water for the city. And so, of course, we used to say that about energy. Oh, it only makes sense for like to have one grid. But we saw during the freeze, but sometimes when there's no competition, it leads to bad service. Okay, so next step is an oligopoly. Oligopoly, the word oli means few. So we're talking about like it's not a monopoly, but it's really close. So we've got maybe 3 to 4 businesses that control most of the market, meaning they have lots of market power. They have the ability to raise prices, but not complete. They do not have complete power over the price. They have strong power over the price, but not complete. They can sell these. When I give you examples, it'll make more sense. But they can sell homogeneous or differentiated products. Okay, so the word homogeneous means the same. Differentiated obviously means different. So the example of an oligopoly would be like the airlines. There's what? There's Southwest, there's American, there's Delta. There's just a few handful. We're not talking about hundreds. We're not talking about hundreds of airlines. They sell basically the same product. They sell travel, they sell air travel. That would be very same product. A flight to Denver is a flight to Denver. Like you are getting on a plane and you're ending up in Denver, no matter who you take, if that's the flight pattern. They have, you can see that airlines do raise their prices a lot. And it's like, well, what else are you going to do? I guess there's a couple other airlines that I could go to, but they're all raising their prices. And that's the problem with an oligopoly. It's still very little competition. And so they do have a lot of power over the price. And it is difficult to enter this market. To open up an airline would be really difficult. So when it comes to ease of entry, it is difficult. It's not no entry. It's difficult to enter the market. Because competing with these big airline companies, or whether it be like cell phone providers, to be able to open up in a marketplace that compete with Apple would be really expensive and really difficult. Also, cereal, I don't know, cereal brands is another example of an oligopoly. Basically, it's like General Mills and Kellogg's. That's really it. I mean, there's some others, but there's not going to control most of the market. You go in the grocery store, you look at the cereal aisle, you look at the brand. Yes, there's lots of different. They sell different cereals, and so that's an example of differentiated products. Lots of different cereals, but they're all coming from like the same two or three sources, and so very little competition in terms of cereal brands, in terms of cell phone providers, in terms of airlines. I guess, it would be easier to enter the market providing cereal, but you're not going to turn into Kellogg's overnight. You're not going to be really competing and really putting a dent in the Kellogg's, market. Okay. Most businesses that you've heard of, also under oligopoly, hello, Walmart and Target. If that's not an example of an oligopoly, I don't know what is, because it's like literally like Walmart, Target. Those are the really big when it comes to like super centers. Those are the really big examples. Um, Monopolistically competitive markets are going to be selling differentiated products. But here's a key word: they are similar. They are different, but they are very close substitutes. They're like, this is going to be and there's many of them. Notice how many sellers there's many. So we went from one to few. Now with monopolistic competition, we're talking many. We're talking about hundreds of competitors in this market. This is going to be an example: fast food or clothing brands. Oh my gosh, shoes. Where you can name off, like, think about how many fast food restaurants there are. You can name off 20 of them in 10 seconds. And they're selling different things. This one sells tacos, this one sells hamburgers, this one sells steaks. But they're all food. And so, since there's so many of them, they have slight control over the price, slight market power. Notice when there's more and more competition, and there's lots of businesses here, the less market power they have. My favorite restaurant could probably raise their prices 10%, 20%, and I'd still probably go there, but they cannot raise their price any more than that. I'll just go somewhere else because there's so many other competitors. There's so many other businesses in that same market that I'll just go somewhere else. So they can't control the price that much. When it comes to uh, non-price competition, since there's so many, it's location. They're everywhere. Maybe they have really good advertisements that really draw you in. Maybe there's lots of customer service that you're going to find in fast food restaurants and clothing brands, things like that. So they're going to be really competitive. They're going to be lowering the prices as well. They're going to be doing some price competition. But when it comes to non-price competition, this is where you're going to find um, really good examples of non-price competition and really easy to enter the market. When it comes to how easy it is, it's easy to enter. It's really easy to open up your own business, like restaurant business. It's really easy to open up your own, maybe not clothing business, but think of, I'm trying to think of another example besides fast food. Anyway, it'll come to me. But these are really easy, just businesses to just start. And that's why there's so many of them, because it is easy to enter. If it was difficult, then there wouldn't be many sellers, but there's many sellers because it's easy to enter. And I did not talk about oligopoly's non-price competition, but there's some, when it comes to non-price, it's not going to be a lot. Maybe location, maybe, it's a well-known brand, but it's not going to, they don't, like Walmart and Target does not have to go out of their way with customer service because it's just Walmart and Target. Cell phone providers don't have to go out of their way with non-price competition because there's only one or two others in the marketplace. But monopolistic competition, they're going to go out of their way to really be competitive because there's so many sellers. And since I'm running out of space here, I'm going to delete all the stuff that's here so I can write perfect competition. All right. Stop. What did I just do? Back. Go away. There we go. Maybe I will make the font smaller so you can still see it. Nice. Okay. All right. All right. Perfect competition. What kind of products do they sell in perfectly competitive markets? They sell identical, exactly the same, can't tell the difference. They sell homogeneous products, meaning same. You cannot tell the difference. And because you cannot tell the difference, you are going to go with whatever's cheapest because it really doesn't matter where you get it from because there is no difference between the products. So these businesses have no market power. They cannot raise the price a penny because since you don't have any brand loyalty, you'll just go with whatever's cheapest. So, if, we're looking at, uh, I don't want to use this example because there are some people that are like, I only go there. I'm like, well, you're dumb. But I'll give you an example in just a second. If there's no market power, there's easy to enter because there's so many businesses. It must be easy to enter. There is, there's some non-price competition, but I feel like you're going to find the non-price competition better examples with the monopolistically competitive markets. Anywho, let's go to our examples. Produce. Name me a strawberry brand. I bet you can't. What about a banana brand? Or a brand of lemons? Or milk? Okay, I get milk. Gordon's or Borden's? Borden's. I think it's Borden's. But for the most of us are going to be like, I get the blue one. Or, I'm like looking at the prices of apples or something, and those are the ones that I buy. Do you know what farm it came off of? Probably not, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And how easy it is to open up, a fruit stand. So easy that people do it on the side of the street. Kids do it with lemonade stands. This is going to be an example of perfect competition. Anyone can grow some vegetables and fruits, sell on the side of the street. And how easy is that? How easy is that? Of course, you have to stay competitive. I guess examples of non-price competition, ooh, I can't spell, would be like the quality. You know, if one is cheaper, but it's all dented and rotten, I'm probably gonna go with a more expensive one, that is not. So I guess that's one way to compete by, like, freshness, but produce, milk is an example. It's supposed to be, I know that some people are really picky about their milk, but they're like, "I only get this." Okay, but one example is also gasoline. Gasoline is gasoline is gasoline. You're no matter, like, you are looking for, you're driving on the street, you're looking for the cheapest gasoline. You don't care if it's coming from Shell or Exxon or whatever. You just go with whatever's cheapest because gasoline is gasoline. And so that's why, they don't really have any control. They can't just raise the prices just because you'll go with whatever's cheapest. And they sell identical products because gasoline is gasoline. Okay, so that is our market structures table. Hopefully, I didn't um, uh, miss any columns there. I feel like not. If there's a column that says something about who controls the prices, just keep in mind it's going to be the business at the very with monopoly, and here towards the bottom, it's going to be like supply and demand. Um, just kind of like how it was with our economic spectrum, like government control versus supply and demand. Here's like business control for monopolies versus supply and demand. Okay, so that is it for today. I feel like that's plenty. Hopefully, this wasn't too much, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great afternoon. Bye.